Recording in progress.
Hello Ateneans! To ensure a smooth running webinar for both the speaker and the audience, please be reminded of these following house rules. Number 1. For the entire duration of the webinar, kindly turn off or mute your microphones to avoid interrupting the presenter. Number 2. Be on time. Once you have joined the Zoom session, please refrain from leaving and attend the entire duration of the webinar. Number 3. To raise your queries, you may type them in the chat box of the platform you are using. Kindly refrain from posting comments unrelated to the topic. Number 4. The moderator will be acknowledging your questions and directing them to our speakers during the open forum. Number 5. When participating in the open forum, Be mindful of your background and your background noise. Number 6. We will be releasing the link of the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. Number 7. Please note that we will only be issuing e-certificates to those who have registered, confirmed attendance, and completely filled out the evaluation form. Number 8. Use your real name and follow the prescribed format for proper documentation, if any. Number 9. Unless you are permitted by the organizer, please do not record any part of the webinar. And number 10. Please give us a week to prepare your e-certificate to be sent via email. Thank you and enjoy the webinar.
Hello there, Athenians! Welcome to the new season of the Alternative Class Program.
That's right, the ACP is back and it comes with something more.
Indeed, the ACP is one of the biggest and most anticipated formation programs in the Ateneo, with more than 80% of the college population participating in the program's semestral offerings.
And the ACP is made possible through the collaboration of the Office of Student Affairs and its partners, like academic departments and formation offices, the Supreme Student Government, and student volunteers like us. Why don't we refresh our students' memories on what the ACP is all about, Seth?
Sure, Alyssa, that would be helpful, especially for those who are attending the ACP for the first time. The ACP is conducted every semester to provide the college students with formative opportunities outside their regular classroom routine and daily schedule in support of the university's uniquely Jesuit educational goals. Instead of attending their classes for a particular period, students choose one ACP topic from among the offered webinars and e-workshops.
That's right, Zeth. Carefully selected resource speakers from different fields of specialization are invited to showcase their knowledge, skills, and inspire students to nurture their personal development and partake in social advocacies or causes.
Did you know that there are almost 30 ACP topics in store for all students this sem? And each student could take part in up to 4 webinars and workshops?
Wow, that's amazing, Seth. And what's even more amazing about the ACP is that our topics are varied enough to cater to the different interests of our students. We have politics, environment, arts and crafts, and health.
Foreign languages, financial literacy, performing arts. Name it and you have it in ACP.
But wait, there's more about the ACP this semester. Because of the improvement in our pandemic situation, we are now bringing back some face-to-face ACP events, especially the workshops.
That's indeed a good news for everyone, Alyssa. And I'm sure the students like us are excited to learn new things in the company of our fellow students. Speaking of more, what is really the meaning of the more? What is Magis?
That's a good question, Zeth. Students have a lot of misconceptions about Magis, so this is an opportunity to clarify what Magis really means. The Ignatian Magis is choosing the most loving option in our actions and decisions out of our love for God. Without this love for God and love of God, the more is not Magis.
Meaning, the more is not about having more or doing more until you get exhausted. It is about quantity or excellence. Contrary to what people understand about Magis, neither is it about settling for the minimum and being complacent after having achieved so.
Magis is love of God and for God. And what better way to do Magis than by serving God's people, especially the poor and marginalized, as a way to love and glorify God. That's Magis, and we, Athenians, are called to discover and live out the more loving option in our everyday lives.
Given this theme, the ACP topics are carefully chosen to be relevant to the current times, formative, and mission-driven. And at the end of the webinars and e-workshops, the ACP hopes for the following objectives. First, acquire knowledge and/or skills that are relevant to one's interest, talent, skill, passion, or advocacy. Second, relate or share the learning and insight gained from the topic or activity in conversation or dialogue and personal reflection.
Third, examine the importance of one's interest, talent, skill, passion, or advocacy to the development of the society. And fourth, seek ways or opportunities by which the gained knowledge and skills can be further advanced and used for the benefit of the immediate organization, community, or larger society.
For now, we would like you to listen to the speakers sharing.
And please take part in the conversation during and even after the event.
Strive for more. Be persons of knowledge and service. And don't forget to learn and have fun while we experience ACP Ateneans.
Magis morning, men, women, and everyone in between here with us in Zoom. Well, some of our schoolmates might have chosen to learn foreign language, right? Or other ACP classes, but I'm so glad that you have chosen this class for our ACP. But did you know learning a second language is good for your brain health? Swedish scientists discovered that the learning a foreign language can actually increase the size of your brain. But scientists also know that people who speak more than one language fluently have better memories and can delay the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. But what about learning sign language, right? Well, it allows us to be more connected with our deaf and mute brothers and sisters. I hope you are as excited as we are today. So, our ACP today would actually allow us to learn a part of our deaf and mute brothers and sisters. It's a way actually for us to be more connected with them when we meet them or we get to converse with them, right? That's why we're learning basic sign language this day. We all do know the challenge of communication barriers after all, right? But yeah, I am Nikayla Odi and I will be your host for this ACP. I know we all long for a break and a quick escape from our conventional classroom routine, right? So we are glad that every semester, the Office of Student Affairs or OSA and its partners organize the Alternative Class Program or ACP for us students to participate in. There are various formative classes that we can choose from a wide array of interests. Ateneo hears us. We know that not everything can be learned inside the virtual halls and the four corners of our classrooms, right? So we hope that you will have fun and also carry the lessons you'll get from the ACP that you've chosen, particularly this day's ACP. If I may say, this is my very first time actually to attend ACP since I'm a freshman. But we had a similar event back then in Adna SHS where we could also choose a crash course to participate in. So, ayan, guys, we are also live in Adnoos's YouTube channel. So, hi, hello, mabuhay to our YouTube streamers. Please do not hesitate to send us your message or questions via the text channel so that we can entertain later on in the open forum. But before we formally start our ACT for today, I would like also to give you some important and gentle reminders. In order for you to get an e-certificate, you have to stay with us throughout the entire session and answer the evaluation form that will be sent by our staff later on. Now, to start our event, we invite everyone for the opening prayer. So to our Catholic friends, please do the sign of faith. There you go. While we're setting up for the opening prayer, I hope all is well with you. Later on, sana maging participative tayo. Okay? Okay? Please give me a thumbs up. Use the reactions there. Ayan. In the name,
In the name of the
Father,
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, we thank you for today and the fresh chance to know, love, and serve you and your people. We thank you for the gifts of life, talents, and persons that you have divinely placed in our lives. We thank you for Ignatian spirituality and the missions of the Society of Jesus and the Ateneo de Naga University. We thank you for our being Ateneans and the unique education and formation and purpose that comes with our identity and values. We thank you for the generosity of your people, especially our speakers and the people who worked hard to make the alternative class program possible. We thank you for our fellow learners and friends who shall take part in enriching conversations and inspiring actions after the event. As we all journey together in new beginnings, continuations, and transitions, may we draw inspiration from the learning we shall gain from ACP and other formation programs. Open our hearts and minds and refresh our memories so that we may discover what you are calling us to do. In the innumerable details, concerns, and hopes that we have today, with courage and joy, may we strive for the more, the magis. That is to strive to know you more intimately, that I may know you more dearly and follow him more closely. May the many crises in our midst not paralyze us. Instead, may it embolden us. May we truly find you in all things, including our own struggles and afflictions, and may we graciously and humbly receive your merciful and reassuring love. We pray for all these in the name of Jesus Christ, with the intercession of Our Lady of Peña Francia and Saint Ignatius of Loyola. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Ayan. But again, good morning to everyone who's with us here in Zoom. I hope that we are all ready. But before we move forward to the main event in this ACP, I'd like to ask you also, how are you today? And if ready na, let me see the words I am ready sa ating virtual chat room in 3, 2, 1. Again, if ready na, let me see the words I am ready sa ating virtual chat room in 3, 2, 1. Kasi ako and of course, the staff here ay also very ready na, no? And ready na kami to learn new things and of course to learn these things with you this morning. Ayan, give me a thumbs up also. Ayan, nakita natin ang ating mga participants. Ready na raw sila. Now, let's have a short icebreaker because I'd like to know what's your most favorite word at the moment. Pwedeng an adjective, a noun, whatever. Um, Give us your most favorite word. Perhaps you can use the Zoom chat now. Let us know what is your most favorite word at the moment. Let us know your favorite word, and let's try to reenact this later on using sign language. Please send us your thoughts or answers by going to our Zoom chat, and let us know about your most favorite word. Meron na bang nag-send ng kanilang favorite word? And also, for those who can access Mentimeter, our staff has sent mentimeter.com via the chat box. But to those who cannot access, you can use the Zoom chat. Ayan. Punta po tayo sa ating Mentimeter. And may I ask also the tech operator to please flash the Menti website. And again, for those who cannot, access to the Mentimeter, you can use the chat box here. And if you, there's a ayan. Let us know again, what's your most favorite word? Ayan, since parang merong problem with the code, let's just utilize na lang siguro the Zoom chat, You can share us your favorite word via Zoom chat. Thank you. Yeah, I guess the code is not working. So let's just use na lang siguro yung ating Zoom chat. Let us know your most favorite word. Kasi later on, pag natuto na tayo ng basic sign language, let's reenact them later on. Ayan. Let's look at the chat box. Cute. Pagmamahal. Bliss. Fluffy. Food. Sino ba naman hindi favorite ang word na food? Fighting. Marvelous. Sleep. Yeah, we all need that. Progress. Crazy. Well, that could be an expression, right? Not all. Ayan. Please let us know your most favorite word there. But let us move forward. Ayan. Again, I am Nikayla, your host for today, and marhay na aga sa Tugabos. And I will be with you in this ACP, thumbs up, learning basic sign language. Give us a thumbs up if you guys are ready. Please use the reaction here in Zoom. And wag na nating patagalin ito. Allow me now to introduce our resource speaker kasi nandito na siya, masyado siyang maaga, Ayan. Let me now introduce to you our resource speaker. We are so honored to have our speaker today, who is a versatile and a collaboration-driven international special education teacher and inclusive education advocate with expertise and interest in diversity in education, educational research, global approaches to education, and the integration of technology in the classroom geared towards learners with diverse needs. Mr. Cruz successfully worked with different groups of students for adaptive academics, reading remediation, and enrichment classes in public and private schools here and abroad. Mr. Cruz achieved international and national recognition for leadership of community projects and mentorship of teams participating in competitions during his teaching fellowship experience. He also worked and was trained in specialized learning support in elementary and middle school, the U.S. core curriculum, and the IB diploma. Currently, he is also based in Maryland, USA, and worked as a certified general special education teacher for high school students and adults in Children's Guild in Prince George County. Our speaker finished his undergraduate program at the Benitez Hall, the University of the Philippines College of Education in Diliman, with a degree in special education Mr. Cruz is a Finman National Scholar and is UP Presidential Leadership Scholar since his freshman years. He is currently taking his International Online Masters in Advanced International Teaching. He earned his Sign Language Certificate Level 2 from the De La Salle University College of St. Manil. He is here with us to pay forward, an advocate for those who are considered these last and lost of our society. Let's welcome him with a virtual, warmly sounding sound round of applause. Let's give him a virtual round of applause.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Thank you for introducing me, Nikayla, and all to the whole team. Thank you very much for having me. Magkaiba tayo ng oras ngayon. Ngayon ay alas 10 na ng gabi dito sa Maryland. But I'm very happy na buhay ang inyong batch and group from the Ateneo de Naga University. Thank you for having me. Thank you for lending and opening your ears to listen to this special topic near to my heart. Not because it's because of my advocacy or cause, but this is something near to my heart as a family member with a deaf brother. So ayun, may isa na akong pasabog sa inyo. Can you hear me very well? Could you show me a virtual thumbs up if you can hear me very well? Thank you. Got it. Okay, so allow me to share my screen so that I can start my conversation with you. Yes, you heard it right. I wanted to be open as possible to everyone. If you have questions, if you have comments, or naantig ba kayo dun sa punto na i-share ko ngayong umaga, feel free to use the chat box. Let's practice the freedom of expression here. If you have questions na kailangang i-address agad-agad, you can also send me a personal message. Allow me to use various languages this morning, di lang English, di lang Filipino. I'm sure some of you are anticipating to learn the basic sign language. Yun yung kumbaga peak palagi ng pag binibigay ko yung ganitong talk, yung workshop. No? Ako din, excited ako for everyone. So, without further ado, let's start my talk. Thumbs up, ika nga, no? So to start with the session this morning, can anybody or can all of you show me a virtual thumbs up by clicking the thumbs up sign or turning on your videos if you're ready to listen? That's actually a basic sign, no? Yung thumbs up na yan, it's a universal sign that it means you're okay, you're ready. Okay, so same here, thumbs up. I'm okay, I'm ready, I'm excited. So first things first, I would like to invite everyone for the predispositions for today's session. Is this something, sir, that would be evaluated as something big or something major in terms of our learning? Is this something na parang katumbas na ba ito ng isang baccalaureate program? I would say that our topic for this morning is a key to a locked door, no? Maraming mga tanong, maraming nahihiwagaan pagdating sa mundo ng deaf community. Yung iba, tinuturing silang it's a separate group, it's a different group. And there's some questions before that were addressed na parang how do we actually let them feel that they are included in the community? So for today, I would like to invite everyone to think about these sentences. Sign language is more than a sign. Sign language is more than a language. Sign language interpreting is more than a hobby, or it's not just a passion project. The bigger picture that I would like you to think about is sign language is about identity. It's about a culture. It's a revolution towards a more inclusive society. Not just in our home country, but actually in the whole world. And allow me to share these personal experiences for you to see the bigger picture and ask yourselves, do I really promote inclusivity whenever I go somewhere or whenever I meet a deaf person? Or based on my passion projects, your personal goals? Any thoughts before we jump to the next slide? Do you have any questions to me? May gusto ba kayong agad-agad i-address natin? Okay. So before we officially start with my session, gusto ko kayo muna yung marinig. Using this link, go to www.menti.com. Code is 36395048. What do you feel or your initial reaction or your impression when you meet a deaf person? Ano ang iyong nararamdaman o ang paunang reaction mo o ang pangunahing impresyon kapag nakakasalubong ka ng isang big? You feel uncomfortable? One word lang, di kailangan na mahaba. You feel excited? Do you feel anxious? Hindi po ako marunong mag-sign eh. Do you feel something interesting or interested to talk to that person? So for the next 2 to 3 minutes, I want you to put in the Mentimeter your thoughts about this question. Oh, apologies. So, can you hear me now? Okay, so I would like to show two types of responses because I also ran the same question. Dun sa same question basically about the what will be your first impression about a deaf person. Um, Interesting yung mga sagot. Let's compare kung ano yung mga sagot ninyo sa kanila dun sa niron yung una kong niron ito. I got a total of, let me see, nice, 89 responses from 89 participants. So let's see, Tingnan natin ang mga inyong mga kasagutan. Oh, wait. Nakapaglagay ba kayo ng... Okay, good, good. Okay. Let's see. I think majority of you... This is interesting. Okay. Isa lang yung talagang nangibabaw na sagot, no? Okay. A lot of you answered special, curious, maybe to understand them, sad. Bakit kaya sila sad? Ibig sabihin, same size as majority or yan yung 5 sagot, no, na lumabas sa inyong grupo. Let's compare to the previous group that I told you na sumagot din ng same question. So, most of the terms that you answered, medyo may overlap sila. You're curious, you're anxious about facing a deaf person. Why? That's a big question. Why? Pity. You're interested? Special? Are you feeling special or sila ba yung tinuturing yung special? Challenging? Awkward? Those big words, no? Amazed. So, as you can see, iba-iba tayo ng perspektibo. And this morning, no, that would play a very big role for our whole presentation. Perspective. Will we stick with our own perspective or our old perspective? Or are we open to a new perspective, to hear about a perspective that we never heard before? When you're working in the disability sector, one thing that I learned is it's not more on awa, but it's more on nakikiisa ka. Nakikiisa ka sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng oportunidad para sila mismo ay makaranas ng nakasama sila sa ating mundo. And many of these groups, including the deaf community, have been or have experienced a long time experience of negative emotions, of abuse. That's the sad side of it. And later, I'll show to you some of the realities, no? Bakit humantong sa ganito? Hindi lang mga datos, hindi lang mga kwento, bagkus ito ay isang mahabang usapin, no? And that's the bigger picture that I want you to learn from my session this morning, that to learn a specific language is not only about learning those vocabularies, those signs, but as you learn or as you move forward this morning and after my session, I hope that we all realize what are the struggles of a deaf person and how could we help to remove these barriers and make your school, your home, your community, your city a more inclusive or accessible place, especially for the deaf community. So let's continue, no? After I got your side, allow me to share some of the facts and principles how inclusion and empathy plays a very big role when we talk about social justice among deaf community. And mind you, this has been running for the past years, proving na we can attain inclusion or social justice in different sectors and places in our community. However, let's also reflect if are we really attaining these principles and beliefs in our communities or at home, or baka mismong tayo mismo yung nagiging barrier. So first things first, there's a belief or there's a famous saying in the field of teaching. The teaching is actually like doctoring. Why? When we go to a doctor, we basically have a need. So may iba-iba tayong dahilan, may iba-ibang sakit, and it depends. if we're going to treat it as a sickness, sometimes it's not a permanent condition, sometimes it's a permanent condition. So in the comic strip na ginagamit ko to every time that I give a talk, sabi dito, kids go to a doctor with different needs, like what I said a while ago. And what if the doctor said to them na, oh, kung iba-iba sila ng sakit, like yung isa may ubo, nasugatan yung knee, masakit yung chan, and then the doctor would say, uminom kayo lahat ng cough syrup. Is that right? Is that just? And the big question is it fair? Let's remember that fair is not always equal. From the situation, only a portion or only one kid would benefit from that. And that is what? The kid with basically with cough or who's coughing. And that's not fair for the others. It's the same thing in the classroom or in our community. Every student, every person has different needs. For instance, student A would say, I have trouble focusing for more than 15 minutes. I think better when my hands are busy. I can talk about what I know better than when I can write about it. I can't grip a pen or a pencil. Same with the deaf community. Sometimes there's some deaf who are really adept in signing. Some deaf individuals could actually lip read. Some deaf individuals can partially hear. Iba-iba din. Parang tayo din. So the catch of it is, different students, different people should get different things or rescue or help that they need so that they would succeed in life. And in this poster, that's their proposition on how to make a classroom or a community fair for everyone. But what's the bigger picture? Is it always about fairness? That is one thing that I want you to think about also. This is another picture that I also like to use in most of my talks, no? So, you know this story, the giving tree. So, sa giving tree, no, they added an extra character. There's a second boy. Dati, di ba, parang isang boy lang. So, they illustrated inequality as only one boy catches one apple and the other boy doesn't have the apple. That's unequal. That's unfair. Now, the other situation, equality. Uh, for us to be fair or equal, sige, bigyan natin sila pareho ng ladder for them to climb up and try if maaabot nila yung tree. So in this situation, yung isa lang ulit yung nakaabot ng apple and the other boy wasn't able to get an apple despite the fact that meron siyang ladder. The third situation talks about another E word that rhymes with equality, but it's different, equity. In equity, we make sure that the tools that we give or the help that we give answers the need of the person so that he could have access to that. In this case, both boys were able to get apples because depende siya sa height or height ng side kung nasan sila. So again, perspective will play a very big role here. And the most compelling part here is they added one more. So before they would say equity would be the highest, but technically we're forgetting something, justice. In the picture, they also thought about the tree. It's unfair for if it's just one-sided, only the people would get the apples. How about the tree? So when we talk about justice, we talk about or we care about the needs of everyone. Same goes in a community. It's not enough for us to give the needs of those with obvious or situations or conditions that could be seen by our naked eye. How about those who couldn't be seen? Something internal. So in the case of deaf people, how could actually we cater social justice for them? So for instance, language plays a very big role for their identity formation. And if imagine yourself if we will put you in a situation na it's a new environment, walang marunong magsalita nung alam mong mga wika, how would you feel? How would those people around you feel about you being alienated about the situation? And sometimes we always feel that na tayo palagi yung masusunod. What if we turn around and change that situation na give them a voice, give them a choice. And somehow that depicts the story of the Filipino deaf community as a powerful group right now, creating their own identity, creating their own language to for us to be introduced in the world of Filipino deaf community. So this morning, I would like to answer these big questions. Who are considered the Filipino deaf community? And what are the specific struggles of the Filipino deaf community and how can we help them? And plus, of course, the workshop that you're waiting. So before this, gusto ko muna tayo mag-icebreaker. Some people might recognize this video. This was, I think, edited and produced last year. Yes, some people might recognize me. Ako po yung nag-interpret nung ilan sa mga kanta sa Poddy Rock. If you're listening to the podcast of Jim and Sab Magalona, sila yung nag-produce nitong video na to. So I'm inviting everyone to follow, and if you don't like to follow, spot on some of the signs that will catch your attention. So let's play this video.
Welcome to Poddy Rock. Hey Poddy Rockers, it's time to meet your animal friends.
Hi, I'm Arfist. I love to bark. Oh yes, I'm Arfist. I bark, bark, bark. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Hi, I'm Oceanist. I am a fish. I love the ocean. I'm Oceanist. Swim, 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 swim. Swim, 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 swim. Hi, I'm Benny. I love to hop. Oh yes, I'm Benny. I hop, hop, hop. Hop, 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 hop. Hop, 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 hop. We are your animal friends. We are your animal friends. Hi, I'm Waffy. A tall giraffe. Oh yes, I'm Waffy. I love to laugh. Hi, I'm Bobby. I am an owl. Oh yes, I'm Bobby, a friendly owl. We are your animal friends. 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 Hi, I'm Jonesy. I am a cat.
Okay, so far, did any sign of in the video catch your attention? Meron ba kayong parang, sir, parang alam ko yung sign na yun, it's very common. Yeah, some of them recognize the Poddy Rock. Yes, Ninya. Meron ba sa inyo naka-recognize oh, parang familiar yung sign na yan. We also use it in our daily life. Meron ba kayong naspatan doon? You can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and show me that sign na familiar. If you have questions tungkol dun sa video, the laugh sign, no? Yes. Thank you, Giselle. Did I pronounce your name correctly? So the laugh sign is an initialized L with matching tawa talaga. So when I'm doing the video, no, it kasagsagan yun ng pandemic. And no, that was like patapos, parang nag-lockdown ulit. And I did the shoot by myself. Yun yung challenge doon. But interestingly, kapag nag-i-interpret ako ng song or anything, I usually have a deaf mentor na tinitignan kung paano ma-improve yung sign. And it's not only about signing. It's more on how do you get the audience or captivate the message with those signs? May mga part kasi doon sobrang bilis. I'm reading some of your answers in the chat. Karamihan, swim, the barking sign. Oh, fun fact. The barking sign is actually a localized sign that is very unique for the Filipino community, Filipino deaf community. Bark. Kasi the dog sign in American Sign Language is different. It's like when you tap or pag pinalo mo yung pet mo, and then you do the snapping. So parang nagtatawag ka ng dog, no? But some of the what do you call that? Some of the deaf people would argue na Filipino deaf people na would argue hindi naman ganyan yung aso sa atin. So they localize it and they made it more culturally appropriate, which is like, oh nga naman yung mga askal, di ba? Tumatahol na lang sila basta sa iyo. So the sign that I use in that particular song, it was from the culture, the local culture, and yun din yung instruction sa akin ng deaf mentor ko na tinanungan ko na. Sabi dito yung hop, yes. So that is actually a visual gestural communication. May mga signs na, do I need to spell it out? Do I need to like use my fingers and represent that it's a person or the animal itself? Yes, the love, yes. Para kang yumayakap. Ang bilis po ng sign sa oceanist. Practice makes perfect when you do interpreting. I hope you tried. I hope you tried copying some of the signs, or you get that part na alam ko na to before, or I can practice this. The songs na FSL, you can just go to Puddy Rock TV, papanood nyo sa mga students nyo, sa mga kapatid nyo, pamangkin nyo. You can access it online sa YouTube. We're planning to do more. I'm advocating for more people or more advocates to sign different stories and songs for the deaf. Not only for the deaf community, particularly siguro dun sa mga batang deaf, because signed stories, signed songs makes a big difference when it comes to literacy learning for these children. So let's continue. So apart from song interpretation, there are more things that you can actually do.
Welcome to Putty Rock.
Sorry about that. To know about the Filipino deaf community. So there's some big facts here. So if you think it actually caused some sort of pangamba or parang na-amaze kayo, feel free to express your comments, your opinions in the chat, and I'll be glad to read it later, and let's communicate. So let's start. In the Philippines, there's an estimated 121,000 deaf Filipinos, according to the 2000 Philippine census. And often, the hearing might not be conscious of them or of their experiences, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. So this is my point a while ago. For so long, it's always the hearing people or the hearing group that would always be followed or set the standards for the deaf community. Bakit? Bakit hindi mismong deaf ang mag-set or mag-lead ng group nila? That's why we have deaf leaders in the community that would advocate or that would lead the main group. And there are many organizations now that would advocate for their needs or push for certain causes of the deaf community. At marami pang trabaho. Hindi lang sa sign language, but other needs na kayang mapunan ng ating lipunan. This is actually from a 2018 article, and I highlighted these parts. 121,000 deaf Filipinos, and that was when? During 2000 Philippine census. Even our own statistics are not yet updated, and I think, imagine that was like 22 years before. And meaning there are more deaf Filipinos maybe born or diagnosed, maraming klase ng deafness or hearing impairment. And if you observe, I use the deaf with a capital D, and I would explain later kung bakit capital D yung ginagamit, no? Sa karamihan. So according to this research, the Filipino deaf culture in a paper, they answer the question, who are considered the Filipino deaf community? These are Filipino deaf individuals, medically diagnosed take note of that, medically diagnosed. Hindi basta-basta lang na ay nabingi po siya or we claim it. It should be medically diagnosed with hearing impairment. So another big term, hearing impairment in the medical perspective, and then in a social perspective would be deaf. Bakit kaya? Later I would answer. Who are considered with unique visual language. This is what I'm telling about sign language, common identity characteristics. They understand more each other, and sometimes they are misunderstood by the hearing counterparts because there are some parts or there's some practices na mismong tayo, hindi natin talaga maiintindihan. Same with other cultures, right? When you go to another culture, bakit si ganito or bakit yung mga tao doon, they're doing this and in our culture, it's not. Same goes with them. And what's interesting about this is every deaf culture differ from another deaf culture. Same goes with our own culture or practices with our families. It differs from other families. They have shared values and norms, especially when it comes to their identity. They have different worldviews and perspectives. Sometimes, no, I'll give you an example. Before I was interviewed regarding the new automated gloves that would automatically say the sign when the gloves would move and show some gestures. At first, pag sa mga hearing, they would say, "Oh wow, ang galing nito. Mas maiintindihan, mas accessible na yung sign language." But then again, I asked my friends who are part of the deaf community, they're youth deaf leaders, and they would say to me, "No, they're misunderstanding our need." Na again, it's pro hearing na naman. Oh nga no, na-realize ko na yes, it's actually kumbaga narrowing the gap between the hearing and the deaf community. But then again, that particular project, if mapapaisip kayo, pabor siya sa mga hearing. So what for the deaf? Is it because for them to be understood by the hearing again? Why don't we, like my question a while ago, try to reverse and challenge our beliefs? Tayo yung matuto sa kanilang kultura. That's where the Filipino the need for us to learn the Filipino sign language comes in. They are very fond of art and performance. A lot of my Filipino deaf friends, they're very good in art. They're into performance. Yes, they sing, they dance, they act. They have their own groups as well, counterpart of their hearing peers. And then they also have their own deaf literature, like folk tales, drama, and humor. When you go to different deaf schools, they have their own way of telling their own stories. That's why I was telling a while ago, one of my advocacies is for us to produce high quality videos and materials that would promote literature among young Filipino deaf. Continuing the point, who are the Filipino deaf community? The typical, again, the word is typical Filipino deaf. They are visual kinesthetic. That's why when you go to deaf schools, they have a lot of pictures for them to make sense. What are we talking about? Without the visual and even the gestural or even the kinesthetic part of it, it's like an abstract thing. Same goes when we learn a language. Most of the language theories would say total teaching or total communication gives a very big impact when it comes to language learning. Same goes with the deaf. No, the word typical is also used here because same with their hearing counterparts or hearing peers, the Filipino deaf could also have a comorbidity or coexistent other conditions or disability. I'll tell you more about it later. Loves to chat through signing. Yes, yes. Hindi po totoong tahimik. And again, may i-dispute ako na term that I really don't want to hear later. It's the M word, the DM word. If ginagamit nyo pa yun, please not use it because it's very derogatory, and it's very debilitating as well when it comes to our perspectives. Person oriented. That's why the sign names they usually associated with something that is prominent in your face, in your body, kung paano kanila nakilala. They're fond of humor and funny stories. A lot of the deaf communities, they're fun to laugh, to watch funny videos, and they can actually distinguish what's funny, what's wrong in a situation, and they make fun of it by creating a parody of it. My first Filipino sign language teacher was actually a Filipino deaf actor, and he's fond of producing deaf funny videos, but by the deaf community. And it's more on the pragmatics na parang for them, nakakatawa talaga kasi nga parang it's not about what do you call this, playing jokes on their disability or their condition, no eh, but more on playing jokes with their hearing counterparts, no, na parang sa mundo nila may mga bagay na hindi natin naiintindihan, pero for them it makes sense a lot when it comes to like comes to their identity, no? And lastly, adults and deafs tends to focus on eye gaze. Yep, not only adolescents but also adults. So it's very, they're very sensitive to eye gaze. Like if you're not focusing or you're not looking at their eyes when you're communicating with them, the the feeling would be dito interesado sa akin, or he's not just true to me. It's parang in passing lang yung communication ninyo. So eye gaze is very important to Filipino deaf in general. Other points would be open in expressing their own opinions and ideas. They're very strong, just like my story a while ago. No, they're very strong about issues, so especially when it comes to like the Filipino deaf culture issues. No, they're community oriented, just like that's also the reason why it's called deaf Filipino deaf community. No, because they share different, I mean, similar or some parallel perspectives, views regarding matters about their community. And they also appreciate deaf time, meaning they allot a specific time for their own community to meet. One example, when you go to churches with deaf groups, in my local church in Quezon City, I have my own group there, who's actually advocating for Filipino Sign Language, but also um, bond during Sundays after Eucharistic celebration to tackle about the gospel or the readings or life in general, for them to understand more. Kasi nga sa bilis nga naman nung misa or no celebration, some of them would have delays in understanding it. So they need more time. And as I read it a while ago, that's one of the accommodations that we give to deaf students or deaf people, that they need more time to process. They need more time to understand things. So kumbaga may iba naman nakakayanan yung paspasan, but because of the absence of hearing, kasi 'di ba pag sa ating mga hearing mismo, kung tayo nga mismo nararattle na tayo, na-anxious na tayo sa bilis ng mga bagay-bagay, the more that they feel rattled. But the good thing naman doon is one of the other senses is very very strong. Like my brother, who is actually congenitally deaf, lahat napapansin niya. So very visually gifted siya. Even the shade of the color, he's very particular that, for example, maroon would be different from rose, which is tama naman, pero ang galing mag-distinguish. So like what I said, yung isang na-compromise na sense, kapalit naman nun yung strength ng isa pang strength. And lastly, partying. They're fond of celebration. They're happy people in general. But there are also some researches recently that show that most of the severe to profound deaf individuals are more vulnerable to mental health issues. And when it comes to mental health issues of deaf community in the Philippines, this is something different. This is something that we need to give attention to, because during the pandemic, we know that a lot of people suffered from mental health issues. But when it comes to deaf community, based from personal experience, ang hirap maghanap ng tulong. And I'll try to expound on that later in the issues. No? So what should we use? Deaf with a big D, deaf with a small b, bingi with capital B, hard of hearing, grupo ng mga bingi, deaf community. These are actually the words that most of the deaf individuals prefer. So for example, bingi, wala naman kasing ibang counterparts nga naman sa Filipino language. So bingi with a small b refers to the medical diagnosis like hearing impairment. But when you talk about bingi with a capital B, same goes with the deaf with a capital D, it gives empowerment or identity to the individual and also to the community, which is the deaf community. This is the word that I was saying a while ago. I hated it to hear this deaf mute. Wala nang wala nang gumagamit niyan. We eradicate that. Pag may nagtatanong sa akin na, uh, are deaf people mute also? Tinitignan ko talaga sila ng masama. Because uh, muteness is the absence of voice. But actually, deaf people have voice. Madaldal sila. You can hear their voices or their laughs during communication. No? So please, the one with the black circle, never ever use it. Disabled. If you recall a while ago, they're saying that the Filipino deaf community is very people oriented. When you say, oh, disabled, yan, you're already labeling the condition of the person. No, as much as possible in the real world or even in the classrooms, we really don't tackle about the disability or the condition. What we view the person as a whole. Ano yung mga kakayanan niya, ano yung mga bagay na makaya niyang maihandog sa classroom or sa community. There are some deaf individuals, no, especially those in the ableist perspective, they would say that they are not PWD. But by the virtue of the law or legal matters, no, uh, deafness or hearing impairment in the PWD card is actually part of the list of those under PWDs of our country. And what do they receive? Usually they get the 20% discount card, no? Or the PWD card in general. And in reality, as a brother, as a sibling of a person who is actually deaf, anong nakukuha nun? Um, yun, nabanggit ko, 20% discount with specific goods, especially medicines. But I hope we have a time na dumating yung point na talagang we can give more to them. Uh, and then, ito na yung kanina kong ine-explain. The small d, based from the verywell.com, may not attend school for the deaf. This is what we call mainstreaming. So a lot of them are in the hearing classrooms and they don't want to be different from these hearing peers. They describe hearing loss only in medical terms. That's why they use the HI or hearing impairment. Some of the public schools, they would use classes with hearing impairment. And then, come to think of it, inclusion is actually rallied among public schools. And yet, even the terminologies, even the words are still there. Na parang we're rallying ourselves to be more inclusive in the classrooms. And yet, simple terminologies are not yet changed in those classrooms. Identifies with hearing people, just like the first point, and does not associate with the deaf community. I had students before like that. They had cochlear implants and they considered themselves as hearing people. Well, these kind of talks or issues, this is something that we leave to the person himself or herself because these things are very personal. We all have our own reasons. On the other side, who are the deaf with the big D? These are the strong with the strong deaf identity. They associate themselves in the as a member of the deaf community and they attend schools and programs for the deaf. They are empowered individuals and they consider themselves as part of the culturally deaf. That's why with the big D, no, yun yung sign na nasa picture. So, as a preliminary, deaf, this is the sign for the deaf, and hearing. Hearing is like may bibig na nagsasalita sa gilid ng tainga. So again, deaf, hearing. So why is there a need to learn FSL? No. So this is the 5 points that we need to know from the unusualverse.com. That why they give 5 good reasons why do we need to learn about the culture of the deaf and their own language. Number one, it's part of the United Nations list of rights of every human being that there should be an accessible language. It may seem strange to most people, but there's a deaf culture that is not associated with a disability, but with a sign language and visual experience of the world. That's why I keep on telling you the phrase visual gestural communication. The fame of the silent applause. You know this? Di ba pag pumapalakpak sila, they don't clap like us, but they have their own way of applauding. But this is very powerful. Once they see that your hands are shaking, everybody will automatically raise their hand. And it seems like it's a connection also to the hearing world, to us. It is considered as an ethnic culture. Yep, that's why even our Filipino Sign Language is considered as the mother tongue of the Filipino deaf. Some of us or some of the deaf communities in our country would use home signs, but eventually these home signs are more related to the signs of Filipino Sign Language because they are localized, because they are relevant, and because they are culturally diverse. They use capital letters in English. That's why the deaf with the big D versus the D with the deaf with a small d. And even their sense of humor is different. This is what I'm telling you a while ago, that some of the things that actually satirical on our end, that's funny on them. And it tells a lot of truth about their experiences as deaf individuals. So this poster is actually, I think, from the College of St. Benilde. So nasa kabilang bakod, no? The De La Salle College of St. Benilde. So in the Republic of the Philippines, we do not use ASL. That's why some of the groups, they claim, oh, we're teaching ASL here, or even signing exact English. Mahalin natin ang sariling atin. That's why there's a big need, not just a need, but actually it's already a law that we need to use the Filipino Sign Language. And what is the Filipino Sign Language? There's some misconceptions that we want to correct. Number one, Filipino Sign Language is a pantomime and a body language. It's just that it's like an acting of body. No. Filipino Sign Language has its own pragmatics, semantics, or rules, and it's actually driven by cultural communication. It's very unique. That's why there's some signs like the dog a while ago that I explained. It's unique in the Philippines and it's different from other countries. FSL is not ASL, like what I said a while ago. That's why we stopped saying that we're using ASL here, unless you actually went to that country and learned that sign language. But then again, it's totally different, especially when it comes to its cultural aspect. FSL is new. Actually, it's not. Filipino Sign Language existed long time ago. If you read here, the origins of early signing in the Philippines go back as early as 1590s. Imagine that, halos kasabay ng pagdating ni Magellan sa ating bansa. In the island of Leyte, antedating contact with foreign languages by over 300 years. It's actually from I guess it's a priest who if I'm not mistaken, who taught the deaf about catechism. And lastly, Filipino Sign Language is based on Filipino. Hindi po. A lot of the Filipino Sign Language terms, words, and signs came from English. So it's not, there's some Filipino words that has a direct translation when it comes to their sign counterparts, but actually hindi po based ng Filipino Sign Language ang Filipino. So I hope I clarified some of those myths and misconceptions. So let's take a short break by watching this video, and let's see from a real perspective, no, what are the different misconceptions that the deaf students from the De La Salle College of St. Benilde would like to answer. I have a bias why most of my materials are from CSB. I studied in CSB as the Emcee announced a while ago with my Filipino Sign Language program. So a lot of the materials are actually from that school. I hope you learn another perspective. Some of the points that I mentioned a while ago were iterated actually in the video. So I want you to send in the chat. So which points actually caught your attention? Ano yung parang, oh, this is something na parang sa tingin ko parang this is something new to me. Meron ba? Let's use the chat if you have parang unique thoughts about it. When I first watched this video, I guess what caught my attention is more on their confidence. I really love the confidence of my deaf friends as well, and their belief that they can actually they actually compare or see themselves with their deaf counterparts in other countries. Like may sinabi si Miss Simons, no, yung deaf actress dun sa A Quiet Place. That's a very powerful milestone for the deaf community, not only in the United States but also in the Philippines. No, maraming na-inspire sa kanya. Same goes with the deaf model who won America's Next Top Model, I guess. Marami ng mga deaf actors, artists na nabibigyan ng break. No? Okay, I guess a lot of you are excited in the next part, which is the workshop. So I'll try my best to highlight the most important signs, survival signs that you need. Okay, let's skip this part, which is it's actually explaining what are the important points of learning Filipino Sign Language. So just to reiterate, Filipino Sign Language, like what I said a while ago, has its own linguistic rules and structure. Filipino Sign Language is part of the identity of the Filipino deaf community. And like what I said, just like in any other culture or country, language plays a very big role when it comes to like making a culture of a culture basically. Third would be Filipino Sign Language is one of the recognized 100 sign languages in the world with its own syntax, grammar, and lexicon. And yes, you heard it right. We have 100 sign languages all over the world, including Australian Sign Language, Japanese Sign Language, British Sign Language. That's why when you go to other countries, some of the deaf individuals would understand, but also would identify, oh, that's different from our country. And the last point would be from the video, the use of Filipino Sign Language answers the call for mother tongue-based instruction based on the unique development of the deaf, the language theories, and the laws of the Philippines. So hindi lamang ito research, hindi lamang ito pag-aaral, bagkus ito ay batas. Kaya dapat tayo ay nag-aaral, dapat tayo ay pare-parehong nag-a-advocate sa pagsulong ng Filipino Sign Language. So let's start with the most basic, no? Finger spelling or the use of the manual alphabet. So I hope you follow me so to see kung ano yung tamang form din, no? But the best teacher, let me repeat this, is not actually me or it's not actually a hearing person. When you want to learn sign language, the best person to teach you is actually the deaf person herself or himself because they naturally use this language. I use it with my brother, but the deaf people, for you to feel their identity, their culture, it is best for us to interact and learn from them. Let's start with the manual alphabet. So I'm sure some of you know it, the manual alphabet. Some of the letters are similar to ASL, but again, ASL is not equal to FSL. So let's try it. If you look at my screen, you can see that I'm also signing it. A, B, C, D, E, F. Not like this, like okay sign. Nope. Mas malapit siya sa palm. F. G with the thumb up. H with the thumb down. I. Then from I, you will just shape it like a J. K is up because when you do it on the side or down, it's another letter. K, L, M, N, O, P. That's the opposite of K. K is up, P is down. Q, R, S, So you see the difference? When you put the thumb on the side, it's A. When you put the thumb in the middle of the other four fingers, it's S. So be careful on that. T, T facing the person that you're speaking. U, like number two, pero magkadikit. Spread it out, it becomes V. Add the middle finger up, that will be W. X, nakatagilid, like a bent pointing finger. Y, pinky finger and thumb up. And Z, pointing finger, then you just shape letter Z. Okay? So you have the code here. Try to spell out your name. That's the first challenge. So using the manual alphabet, try to spell out your name. My name, when I introduce myself to a Filipino deaf friend, I would say, my name. So yung dalawang daliri na parang letter U, papapatungin mo lang right over left. So my name is, or magtatanong sila, name you what? So ang sasabihin ko, my name, so finger spell, that's a sign for finger spell, Curt space Marvin, last name Cruz. They're particular on that. So the first set of names that you would spell, that would be your first name. And then you have to sign last name. So they would distinguish that's your surname from your first name. Okay, so I'll stop sharing the screen. Let me call some of the volunteers and then try natin. Parang kanina pa active si Effie. I want to see Effie practice his finger spelling skills. Effie, are you game? Pwede po bang spotlight si... pag may Enya daw. Pag may Enya, it's letter N na may ganon. Or they would sign Enye. Kung yung letter N, tapos i-wave nyo lang yung parang shape nung tail nung yung nasa taas ng N. Effie, are you ready?
Maghahanap na po ng kodigo.
Okay, no. Don't. I'll show the codigo. Magganon ako kabait. No, just kidding. Okay, go ahead, Effie. Can you see it?
Sige.
Try your
Visible
first
na po.
name.
Sige, try.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah.
Yeah, my name. Yeah, correct. My name is finger spell. Yeah, E. Good. F. Since umuulit yung F ni Effie, isa-slide mo siya sa gilid to the right. So again, so E, F, F to the right. F. Yep. To the right. Yeah. I. E. Kaya mo yan, Effie. Okay. Try your last name. So last name. So try Abiog. A. Good. B. Yep. I. Good. O. G. Yes. G. Paharap yung G. Yes. Good job, Effie. Just it's not about Effie, but in general, when you sign your name, to show that you're confident, the letter should be matigas para kasi kung A, B, C, it's very confusing dun sa tumitingin ng sign mo. So in general to sa lahat pa. So when you say A, let's say A, B matigas siya, hindi siya malambot na B nakakalat yung finger. So you have to be snappy, you have to be confident in signing. And it takes a lot of practice. So if I were you, take a screenshot of this para kumbaga. But I'm also sharing my slides to the organizer. So basically, you can from time to time look at this manual alphabet codigo. Thank you, Effie. Nako, kaya may prize ata ang OSA sa magre-recite. Tama po ba? No, I'm just kidding. Baka mapagalitan ako. Okay, so how do I get my sign name? Unfortunately, I couldn't give everyone a sign name. Plus the fact that sign name are only given by deaf individuals. So if you meet deaf individuals, you can say, hey, or hello, give me sign name. So pag ako nagpapakilala, kanina napakita ko na sa inyo yung finger spelling ko. So I would say, my sign name, Curt Marvin, with a smile. Bakit? Yun yung binigay nung friend ko na deaf from CSB because of when I smile. So I follow with the shape of a smile, CM. So every time that I introduce myself, my sign name is CM, or usually my students would call me teacher CM. And like in my note in my slide, sign names are those with prominent features, which is sa akin yung smile ko and initials. So CM is Curt Marvin. Some of my friends would have, for example, Recio. Why R going down? Mahaba kasi yung buhok niya, prominent yung buhok niya. So that's racial. I have a funny story. One of my friend, sumalangit nawa siya. Binigyan siya ng sign name na ganyan. Bakit? Sabi namin, ba't ganun? Sabi, marami daw siyang pimple, sabi ng deaf. So, sabi, ganun, for them, it's funny. But sabi ko kung minsan baka ma-offend. But we understand them. Oh, kaya pala, prominent sa kanya yung acne niya. So, yun yung binigay sa kanya, marami na. Okay, so, yun yung sasagot dun sa tanong kanina, paano po yung nickname? So, nicknames are actually yung parang ano yung prominent sa'yo, yun yung sign name mo to be given by the deaf individual. So, the moment you become close to a deaf person, ask him, can you give me a sign name? So, let's go to the basics. So, let's do the counting. So, I'll stop my screen. 1. So, numbers tayo. Numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yung 6, yung pinky, pati yung thumb, i-connect mo siya, forming a circular here. Not malapit, pero may circle. 6, 7, sunod-sunod lang. 8, 9, and then 10 is like this one, naka-thumb up, kaya thumbs up, no? But you're shaking it. Anything na multiples of 10 ay nag-shake. 11, so parang 1, pero dalawa mo siyang uulitin. 11, 12, parang 2, pero dalawang beses mo rin siyang ulitin. 12, 13, 14 is 4, but pababa. 14, and then 15 is like 5, pero ganun din. 15, 16, take note, this is a bit tricky. Yung 16, pwedeng ganyan lang, parang pumipitik. 6 siya, pero pumipitik. 16. Pero may mas komplikado, which is you insert the index finger dito sa gitna. So, 16, 17, or ito 17, 18, 19, 20. 21 is very funny. 21. So, dahil 1 and 20, yung 20, di ba, sinishake siya? 21. So, ito yung pang-shake mo. 21, 22, so 2, 2, 23, 24, 25, 22, and then 6, 27, 28, 29, 30. So, shake ulit, 30. So, paulit-ulit lang siya ng yung combination ng 4, shake 41, 42, ganun siya. But the multiples of 10 is shaking. So, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Sir, paano yung 100? I-shake pa siya? 100, diba? So, 100. 100. Okay? 100. So, same goes with 200. Sign ng 200. 300. 400. 500. 600. 700. 800. 900. 1,000. Paano, sir? 1,000. Itutusok mo siya sa palad mo. 1,000. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So anything 1,000 dito nakatusok. And then next would be 100,000. So combination. 100,000. 500,000. Okay? So, sir, paano pag 525,000? 525,000. So it's a combination of words. The 350, sabi dito, paano po pag 350? 350. So again, nakabase siya sa syntax or yung pagkakasunod ng words pala. Not syntax, but yung words basically. 299, 200 So, kailangan mo siyang isa-isahin. Again, 299. Maraming salamat sa mga nagtatanong. I highly appreciate it. Sir, paano pag after 100,000, we millions? Letter M, so dalawa, millions. Billions, trillions. Ibalik ang, magkano yun? Ang 2 billion. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, may yung money ay let's go now. Let's go. Ay nakabase siya sa words. Yes, 230 billion. Paano daw 'yon? 230 billion. Ibalik. Pag decimal dot. So for example, pera. So you say, let's say 320.55. 320.55. Pag dollar ay letter S with the two lines, S. Pag peso, letter P with the two lines, peso. Paano po kapag year, like 2022, same lang po ba? You have to sign the year sign first. So paano ang year? So parang meron kang hinahawakan sa harap mo like this. And then you start at the back, same shape, paharap, pabalik sa likod. That's the sign of the year. So again, same shape. This is my left hand. This is my right at the back. So iikutin mo, parang revolving. Di ba parang yung araw, like a year, pabalik sa likod. That's the sign of a year. So when I sign 2022, year 2022. So the signs are actually from, they have basis, like scientific basis or explanation. Just like my point a while ago, yung araw umiikot sa buong mundo ng isang taon, di ba? Or yung mundo rather na umiikot sa araw. So kaya siya ganon. May mga visual explanation or parang relationship dun sa scientific explanations. Kaya pa? May mga gusto pa ba kayong matutunan tungkol sa numbers? Okay. So we move forward to other important, baka may iba kailangan natin skipan, okay? So we're done with this. So greetings. So hi. So you parang sumasaludo ka pero dalawang kamay. Hi. Hello. One hand lang. So again, hi. Hello. Anything that is good is like left hand down, yung right hand from your mouth going down. Good. Anything good. So when I say very good, or for the greetings, good morning. Parang araw na umaangat. So good, then scoop going up, ay yung araw na umaangat. Good morning. Afternoon, good, pababa yung araw, afternoon, paharap. Good afternoon. Pag evening, good evening. Good evening. Wala nang araw. Good night, kasi matutulog na. You see, some of the gestures, we're actually doing it. Like the good night, di ba? Parang, matulog na tayo. Di ba? Sorry. Letter S, then you rub it on the heart. And which is, emotionally speaking, heart, di ba? Sorry ka. Condolence, letter C, ganun din. Highly emotion related to the heart. Condolence. Happy birthday is very interesting. Anything that is happy is like, nagpo-form ka ng circle sa tiyan mo. Happy. Happy. Happy birthday. You're like blowing your candle. So I already signed this. Very good. Thank you. Anything that is your very thank you depends on your facial expression. So the sign of thank you is like this. Two hands going down, galing sa bibig. Thank you. Thank you. And then pag talagang pasalamat ka na, maganda yung ginawa ng tao sa'yo, papakita mo yun sa emotions mo, sa mukha mo, so facial expression. Ganon. Pag thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sign should come from your mouth. Welcome. So from down going up, that is the sign for water. So you have to be careful. W going down is a sign for welcome. Okay. Question so far. Meron pa ba na negative numbers daw kanina. Balik tayo dun sa numbers. You just put a minus sign like this. Negative 22. Negative 1. Okay, so far meron bang greeting kayo na gusto nyong matutunan? Meron sabi dito, paulit daw po yung enye. So, enye. So, letter N and then enye. Yung nasa tuktok ng enye, di ba? Merong ganun siya. Paano po yung congratulations? Congratulations. Diba? Parang nagkakamay kayo, then you have to put in the right, go to the left. Paano po yung I love you? This one is one of my most favorite. So, finger spell. So, word study lang tayo. I space L-O-V-E space Y-O-U. So, same goes with how we write, diba, sa paper, mahilig kayo maglagay I-L-Y, I-L-Y. So, with the deaf, I-L-Y. Kesa i-spell out mo siya, make it shorter. I-L-Y combined is like this. So this is a universal sign for I love you. So sa mga concerts, kapag nakikita niyo yung mga deaf, gumaganon sila. It means, I love you, I love you. So for everyone here who attended my workshop, I love you all. Diba? Isang sign lang, so it's very powerful. After the finger spelling sign, paano po ibabalik to natural signs? What do you mean natural? Is it you mean the signs that we use? Yung ginagawa natin, these are like Filipino Sign Language signs. So the point of teaching you finger spelling is so that you don't have or you don't develop some sort of anxiety na, ay, hindi ako marunong mag-sign, hindi ako pwede makipag-usap sa deaf. You can. How? It's not only signing. You can actually write it. You can actually text it and show to them. You can show pictures. Okay, next, how to do the whole, hi, my name is, okay, yung katulad kanina, let's review. Hi, my name is, so that's, pero pag magpapakilala ka, pangalan ko, then you have to finger spell. So the word order is actually similar sa Filipino, pero the sign would be English. Like, yun nga, name. Name ko, finger spell. Paano po naglalagay ng space pag sa finger spell? Space. So, baba mo lang yung name mo. Yung 4 fingers mo. Space. Christine, thank you for that I love you sign. Everyone. Yes, she's right. That's the reason. But may ganong emoji. It's a deaf-friendly emoji. So, and some of if you know like deaf people in Facebook, you put this in their comments, they would understand. She's liking she's loving my post, my comment. It gives them some sort of acceptance and empathy from other people. Siguro kaya pa ng kaunti pa. Last batch of sign, family. Family, nanay. Can you see that? Nanay, tatay, father, lola, like opening hands, lolo, anything na babae sa baba ng, ito ang gitna ng face natin, di ba? Sister. It's like you're pointing forward, sister, brother. It should combine with the finger here. So sister, brother. Aunt. Sa taas, A, uncle, U. Wife or husband, wife. Husband, wife. So anything na may asawa is like this. Child na babae, girl, maliit na bata. Boy na bata. Child yan. Anything na mababa is a child. Events. Kanina na-sign ko na yung birthday, blowing a candle. But there's some deaf who would sign birth, parang nagbibigay ka ng paanak, birthday, anniversary, Rizal Day, Bonifacio, yung parang ita, letter B sa dalawang noo, sa dalawang sentido, then taas parang ita, day. New Year, new, anything new, and then year. Freedom Day or Independence Day, free day. Death anniversary. We don't want this, but yeah, I'm gonna teach you how. Death. So anything na may mamatay, death anniversary. Christmas, dahil malapit na magpasko. So my arms is holding the elbow of the other hand. Christmas. Women's Month. Women month. Anything na month ay pa-slide. Founding Day. Hinahanap. Founding Day. Happy World Teachers Day or month. Happy, just like the sign a while ago, sa may diaphragm level. Happy World, parang umiikot. World Teacher. Teach is like this. Pag bunaba mo yung kamay mo ng ganon, yun yung tao. Teach, tao. Teachers Day. Happy World Teachers Day or month. Okay. So I guess I would stop there dun sa part ng workshop dahil may nag-message sa akin. Paano po pag week? Pag week, ito yung palad pa-slide ng ganon. Pagilid. Week. Merry Christmas. I signed you. Merry means happy, di ba? Happy Christmas. Halloween. This is interesting. Some of the deaf would know Halloween associated with monster, right? So, happy Halloween. So, yung mukha mo din. Happy Halloween. Pag Pride Month. So, happy. Sometimes, this is what I learned before. Happy LGBT Month. Ay, ano tayo dyan? I-message kita, Christine. Paano yan? But yeah, one interesting point, they are very particular to personalities. So, yeah, pag election, gumagawa sila ng mga videos related to political or character signs. Napaka-interesting. If you go to the previous election, may mga sign din na like for example, si Lenny, I remember it's like going down kasi yung buhok niya, di ba? Lenny. I forgot yung kay BBM, but yeah, if you search for it, letter L yung kay Lenny going down. But if you search for it yung kay BBM, meron din siya. If I'm not mistaken, yung buhok ata ng BBM. But yeah, if you look at it, meron silang nire-release sa YouTube or sa SOCMED, no. Lastly, siguro magpapaiwan lang ako ng ilang points after this session. I would love to go back again and have a part 2 if you want. I can teach more, and I can also teach some sort of basic interpreting kung paano ginagawa yung sa songs. Before I end this, I would like to paano ginagawa yung mas mga komplikado or parang mas complex na situations sa signing or interpreting. Dito papasok yung sinasabi ko kanina, the use of VGC or the visual gestural communication. VGC is a mode of communication that uses gestures, facial expressions, and body language to express and understand information. So parang nagkukwento ka, di ba? Pag nagsistorytell tayo, all out tayo sa pag-act, sa pagpapakita ng emotions. So for example, in ASL, they would say, the car bumped the tree. The tree. So parang ang haba, word by word. If it's word by word, nakalimutan na yung parang gist ng sentence. In FSL, they will just sign like this. So ito yung kotse, bumagsak yung puno kasi bumangga siya doon. So those are visual, those are the use of gestures, but also the fingers and the use of the hands and the body parts are used so that it would be more meaningful for the deaf person to understand. So far, what is your favorite sign that you learned this morning? So maybe last few words, so what now? What can we do? So some points maybe from me would be to empathize with them is actually to learn their culture, to join them in their causes, and to learn from them. And I would reiterate it, na the best teacher is actually not a hearing person. If you're really into sign language, particularly, especially Filipino sign language, there's so many programs offered by deaf individuals. Hindi lang kayo natuto, kundi nakapagbigay pa kayo ng trabaho sa kanila. A lot of the issues right now pertains to employment of the deaf community. But I think by the mere fact that we're giving them opportunities for them to be heard, for them to work, and for them to earn on their own and live independently, that's a big help to every deaf individual. Last few points, I guess. This one, spoken language of ours is different from their sign. That's why this is just a patikim. When we do interpreting, we write it down. How do we say it in a spoken manner, but how do we sign it in the sense that they would understand it fully? Focus when you speak with them. Eye gaze is very important. Contextualize. There are some signs that actually go beyond to their literal meaning. May iba pala silang ibig sabihin. Saan ang hugot ko nito? Because of my brother. There are some signs that my brother I would feel that, oh, it's very literal. No, but he's telling something. When the deaf is actually crying, when the deaf is actually pointing to something, understand the deeper sense or the deeper meaning of it. Every story and sign has its background and reason. Just like what I told you a while ago, it has a scientific reason, but ganun yung sign. And it's interesting to study it. Be genuine. Adolescent and adult deafs have higher tendencies to develop mental health issues such as anxieties and paranoia. And this is according to research. And I myself could actually attest that my brother is not just deaf, kaya siguro malalim din yung hugot ko dito. When he turned into his adolescent age, he developed some sort of other disorders. And na-experience namin na I felt left in the air, walang tumulong or walang makatulong. It's because the medical field is actually uh, not capable of, not yet, that's why I'm putting the power of yet, not yet capable of communicating with them. So I experienced with my brother na ma-misled yung label na may sinabing ganitong mental health condition and apparently nakainom na ng gamot. So ganun ka-komplikado yung situation. And even senior deaf advocates, they would say the next point that we need to address is actually the mental health issues of deaf individuals. I saw this post in Facebook last week, and I wanted this to share with you. What's the feeling of a deaf individual as they grow up, as they join celebrations in their families? Lalo na malapit na ang Pasko, ang mga celebrations. Sabi nung deaf person, ang pangalan ay si Timothy Skaggs, I hate this picture. It is a trigger for me. I had to do so many holidays. I was jealous. You guys were laughing. I was jealous of the smooth conversation. I was jealous you guys got to know each other. I was jealous that I became angry. Angry because I could not understand. Angry because I wanted to understand. Angry because you took me for granted and thought I was fine. And I was not. If you ever wonder why I don't really do holiday, this sums up 1,000 or more of my emotion. And it's common among the deaf individuals. I would like to reiterate one line from my cooperating teacher when I was doing my practicum teaching. She said, sa kinatagal-tagal na ang deaf community ay sumusunod sa kanilang hearing counterparts. It was only what? During kasagsagan ng FSL law, that was the only time that actually they were heard by the government. But it was a very long journey. Up to now, maraming mga bagay, maraming mga pangangailangan na kailangang tugunan. And I think this is the right time for them to feel that acceptance. And it's not only acceptance, but for those needs to be addressed. If they need special services, the more that we need to develop those services and train professionals meant for deaf individuals, not just for them as clients, but actually as people with dignity and rights and needs. Avoid our fear when we communicate. It's actually when we communicate, they would feel that they belong. There are other ways to communicate, just like what I said. Now that you learn FSL, this is not the end, I hope, but this is the beginning for you to be hungry for more learning. You can use texting, you can use writing, pictures, or gestures. And I hope this is just an introduction. I'm inviting you to learn Filipino Sign Language. Marami ng schools, and I'm not basically endorsing, but if you really want to study from the center of the Filipino Sign Language, go to the De La Salle College of St. Bernard. I think they're offering online classes now. Every facial expression and gesture tells meaning to them. Yes, same goes with the eye gaze, same with our body language. If if you feel that you're bored in the conversation, mafe-feel nila yan. And lastly, like our present languages, the FSL continues to evolve and form its own dialects, subforms, and thus it becomes more colorful, responsive to change, and unique on its own and by its own members, especially the Filipino deaf. And tulad sa atin, di ba meron tayong gay lingo? Watch this video, very short video, for you to learn. Meron din silang signs for the LGBT community. Let's watch this. Makulay ang bawat wika sa ating bansa. Makulay ang mundo ng mga deaf community. And with that, I would like to end with my presentation by inviting everyone to always empathize and advocate for our deaf brothers and sisters by learning the Filipino Sign Language, by learning their culture through the lens of a deaf person. Next time that I will meet you, I hope some of you or all of you would be interested to learn deeper Filipino Sign Language. That is thumbs up. Thank you for having me, Ateneo de Naga University. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cruz, for sharing your knowledge and for imparting also to us the importance of learning FSL. And I have learned a lot from our ACP today. But before that, our staff will be sending G-form link sa ating chat. If you have any queries, you can input it there. And if you can't access the G-form, you can also type it in the Zoom chat so that we can address them later on in the open forum. Ayan. So, ayan, nakita natin na sinend na yung G-form link. Now, let's move forward para naman, tingnan natin, let's test ourselves kung may natutuhan nga ba tayo kanina sa itinuro sa atin ni Sir CM. Ayan, may I ask the tech team to please, present or, yeah, ayan. Thank you. The screen share our presentation for the game. This is just a quick game to test ourselves. But of course, meron po yung prize. Kaya we are hoping that you'll participate in this game. This game is redesigns. And of course, to give you like the instructions and how are you going to play this game, ano? This is just very simple. The game redesigns, its mechanics are the following. Number 1, words or phrases in sign language will be flashed on screen. Number 2, participants must guess the correct words or phrases, commenting on their answers in the chat box. The first participant to comment the correct answer as the staff goes, placed on the chat, go signal wins. So paunahan tayo mag-comment. Let's just wait for the staff na mag-comment there ng go. And ang mananalo doon is yung unang tao na makakapag-type ng kanyang answer after ng go signal sa chat. Okay? And the winner will receive, of course, a GCash prize. Yan. And the winners will be messaged, of course, after by an ACP staff regarding how you can claim your pay. Yan. Are you ready? Give us a thumbs up. Ayan. Seems that ready na ang lahat. Ayan. Let's move forward siguro. Trial round muna tayo. Let's test ourselves. Wait lang, wala pang go. Ayan. Siguro, on my cue, 1, 2, 3, go. And then let's wait for the staff there kung may mag-go. Sa kanya ita-type yung answer, okay? It seems that everyone is ready. Let's start our game. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please, for our first game. 1, 2, 3, go! Ayan! Answers coming in sa ating chat box. Magis nga ba? Okay. Let's reveal. Correct! It is Magis. Next tayo. Congratulations sa ating winner. May Gcash prize ka later. And our winner is Miss Kathleen Ethel Havar. Wait na lang tayo later sa ating staff na mag-message about your Gcash prize. Round 2. In 3, 2, 1, go! Very good. Primum regnum day nga ba? Let's reveal the answer. It's correct. It's Primum regnum day. And our winner for this round is Mr. Kyle Patrick Agravante. Ayan, we still have 2 remaining rounds. Now for round 3. Let's proceed to the next slide. Very competitive ang ating mga participants. So now, in 3, 2, 1, go! Nice one! Ayan, answers are coming in. Saint Ignatius of Loyola nga ba? Tama, it's Saint Ignatius of Loyola. So for the winners, i-contact na lang po kayo ng ating staff for your prize. Actually, mali pala yung nasabi ko kanina, sabi ko meron pang iba. Nako, mag-aabono ako nito. So, hindi wala. Joke lang. Last na yon na game. But ayan, our staff a while ago has sent a Google form link about if you have any questions or queries that you'd like to ask, of course, to Sir CM for us to address it on the open forum. So, ayan. Again, we have sent pala the link via Zoom chat for your queries sa Google form. But ayan, we have one question here po, Sir CM. Ano raw po ang tips to easier learn sign language?
Actually, nabanggit ko to kanina. The best way to learn is actually practice it with a deaf person. So that's why I'm encouraging you to enroll in schools that are actually run or with deaf students. Case in point, kung saan ako nag-aral, basically sa CSB, they assign deaf peers with you. So along the way, you're only not learning the theories about signing, or you're just memorizing it, but you're actually practicing it as you learn it. And I think it's not only in schools. Kung wala naman kayong access on that, still you can volunteer. Like for example, there are some churches who have strong deaf ministries. You can also volunteer there. As simple as first observe, try to see how they act and interact with each other, and be more open to learn from them. Marami pa actually. Yung natutunan natin today, it's just gatuldok or less than panagtuldok sa mundo ng signing, no? And the most important thing here is actually understanding communication and the spirit of empathizing with each other. You learn from the deaf community, they also learn from us. Kumbaga, kaya yung point ko kanina, no, the first one is how we attain social justice, like how we respect and also cater to the needs of each other. May mga bagay, like for example, in reality, like for example, in the workplace, we help them thrive and find those opportunities that because of something absent, a lot of us would believe na hindi mararating or mahirap for them to achieve. But we make them, we make it achievable for them. And those kind of practices, beliefs, is our best gift to them. And again, learning sign language is not like, it's not just learning a simple language, but you get acculturate or acculturated to their own culture. And the deaf culture is really an interesting group to study or to belong with. I would say, kaya hindi ko sinasabi na I'm a deaf. Definitely, I'm not a deaf person, but I'm a deaf advocate. We invite more people to advocate for them.
Thank you so much, Sir CM, for that. We have a last question here. Siguro curious siya if kailangan raw po bang magsalita habang nagsa-sign language.
Well, based from experience, sa start, ganun talaga. Hindi mo talaga maiiwasan. There are some interpreters who are like that. But a lot of my deaf friends, they would say, or they would sign, close your mouth. And sa signing classes, they would invite you to do that. And mahirap siya sa simula, pero kalaunan, especially when I do interpreting, para madali mong maalala yung sequence din, magsasalita ka pa rin. But I try my best not to speak kasi nga, again, itatanong mo siya, kanino ka ba para nagsasign ka? Is it for the hearing people? Is it for fame? No. It's actually for access and for those people na para sa kanila ang sign language. And for them, if para sa kanila ayaw nila ng nagsasalita habang nagsasign, then we thrive not to speak while signing.
Okay, so we receive another query here. Sabi niya, sir, hello, thank you for the very informative and engaging webinar workshop. I am curious how deaf individuals enjoy or engage in listening to music, or they have different ways in creating music or songs. Since I recently watched TED Talk about a deaf musician, and they said that they have interesting ways on how they enjoyed creating and engaging with music and compositions. I hope you'd answer the question. Yan po yung kanyang tanong.
Again, the best person to answer that would be if you ask a deaf person himself. But based from my observations sa kapatid ko, it doesn't mean that a deaf person is lacking the sense of hearing. They wouldn't enjoy music in general. There are so many facets that music can actually bring to us. Like for instance, beat, the volume, right? So I have basically my first teacher in signing is actually one of the few deaf people who finished a degree in fine arts from the UP College of Fine Arts. And he had one story very interesting na up to now iniisip ko yun. Parang isa sa mga classes niya was like it's like a musical interpretation through art. So being deaf, it's very challenging, and the professor immediately stopped him na hindi mo kaya yan. So kailangan natin ibahin yung task for you. So that's one of the most heartbreaking moments, sabi niya. I'm telling this for you to be inspired, not to be the barrier. Paulit-ulit ko yung sinasabi, do not be the barrier to the person. And tulad nung napanood niya, whoever asked that, I guess they have their own ways how to thrive, how to cope, and appreciate music in general. Maybe it's a loud volume, it's because of the beat, maybe it's about the visuals. Remember pag nakikinig ka ng music no, minsan 'di ba may mga visuals na kasama, and they base it on that. That's why they appreciate music. The bottom line is individualization, and the concept of diversity plays a very big role here, no? It's because we believe that different people have different ways to learn, different people have different ways to cope with different situations. So I guess if they have their own ways of doing or appreciating music, then let them be. In a modern world like this, it's only certain beliefs, old beliefs, that would hinder us or them for them to appreciate music. Marami pang paraan para mas ma-appreciate ang music. At sino ba tayo para maging hindrance o barrier para sa kanila?
Thank you very much for answering the question, Sir CL. But sadly, that's our questions for the open forum. So let's move forward naman sa sharing. Well, we have reactors who sued us this morning to share their experiences or their knowledge, gain knowledge in our ACP for today. So now, may I call on Ate Sia for her reaction. Let's see what they have to say for our ACP. Ate Sia?
So ayun sir, I tried to spell my name using the Filipino Sign Language because sign language is the most important part of communication for all impaired or incapable hearing friends. So it helps us with recognizing faces, understanding body languages, being capable to express emotions that would be difficult by using usual words for our friends. So the importance of learning how to use basic sign languages cannot be overstated. It is a skill that will help us eventually in a part of our lives, in variety of situations, and it can help us make friends or like in the near future in our employment as well. So learning basic sign language, especially FSL, is an important step in becoming an effective communicator. So it can also help you become better in understanding nonverbal cues, which is useful in many situations. So as what I've garnered from Sir Curt's webinar, we are knowledgeable with the notion that only those who are physically impaired of hearing are those who are considered deaf. But little did we know that there are a lot of qualifications, that there are unique visual language, the common identity crisis, those with shared valued and norms, worldviews and perspectives. And there is a difference between the small d, small deaf, and big deaf, which is a very crucial part in terms of basic sign languages. So the important reasons as to how we should learn basic sign languages is, first, it is a manifestation of equality, as what Sir Curt said a while ago, because communication is not only exclusive to those who are able to speak, read, and write, but also to those who are able to use sign languages as well. Sabi rin ni Sir, it is a fundamental right for all of us, and it is used to help and foster a better communication for all of us. So at the end of the day po, learning sign languages is beneficial also to our health, as what Nikayla have said a while ago. Not only do people become fluent by using languages like spoken languages, but using sign languages as well, in order for you to express what you have, as it is a right for people, as it is a manifestation of a better and a good communicator as well. So indeed, sir, your webinar is essential, and we are very thankful for pinaunlakan niyo po kami this blessing to for us to have a knowledge on the basic sign languages. And indeed, we are more than welcome and excited po on your next webinar, hopefully with OSA again. So thank you, sir, and we hope to see you soon po.
Thank you very much. I am happy to be with all of you.
And we also have another reactor to share her gained insights and knowledge, of course, from our ACP. Now, giving the virtual floor to Ate Therese.
Thank you, Nikayla. Good morning or noon to everyone. We would like to thank Sir Curt for really showing us what it's like to be an advocate for the deaf and mute community. And thank you, sir, for showing us the clear picture to help us understand their feelings, their thoughts, their experiences, and their struggles. So I feel really inspired to learn the basic sign language in order to contribute to the inclusivity of our society. And I hope that the participants here today are also inspired to learn as well. And the only sign language that I know that I learned a year ago was this one po. I want to learn sign language. So thank you po.
Thank you so much, Ate Sia and Ate Therese, for sharing us your insights. I actually share the same sentiments with Ate Sia and with Ate Therese. That, of course, having and holding this kind of class or activity, of course, with someone who has the knowledge, of course, in FSL, and even having this kind of event itself is like a start on, or is a step already in, achieving at least an inch of equality and inclusivity, because we have to learn, of course, before we go out and talk and converse and even interact with our brothers and sisters, right? And actually, my bad a while ago, since during the what do you call this, the introduction, I actually said the deaf and mute. Well, having heard your what do you call this, your explanation, sir, I realized na sabi ko, yeah, actually true. Although I really didn't know about that when you explained to us the reason behind that. So I realized it's true, right? It's really not empowering at all. And it's like, even though deaf and mute is something, just words that would actually, would kind of, other people say it's only an adjective for these people. But looking at it, we're really not giving them voice if we use deaf and mute, right? But much more than that, we are so glad to have you with us this ACP, and of course having this kind of event. Thank you very much, OSA and its partners. And also thank you for sharing your insights and realizations, Ate Sia and Ate Therese. So we would like to hear also some insights from our participants. You may use the Zoom chat. Let us know what are your insights and realizations in today's ACP. But of course, you will also be calling someone from the group. You may use the raise hand button for us to recognize you, and you may unmute your mic. Let us know what's your reaction, realization, your insight for our ACP today. Meron na bang nag-raise ng hand? Someone from the group to share? Ayan. I think they are still typing sa Zoom chat, no?
But yeah, it just sana yung natutuhan natin, apply natin siya in our hindi lang sa daily basis, but of course, parang at least, I think that this is like parang nakindle yung flame natin also. Kasi we know that a lot of students also who's with us this morning, of course, it's not that they just empathize, but of course, they also have advocacies. And I hope that you include these people, our brothers and sisters also, in our advocacies, and let's craft, I think, or at least siguro involve them, no? Because para mas ma-achieve natin yung more inclusive and mas ma-attain natin yung goals na walang naiiwan behind. Because at the very end of the day, we share this society, share this community, di ba? And ayan, may nakikita ako sa chat na nagsabi, nag-share ng kanilang insight. Challenge, inclusive environment, really masyadong challenge nga ito na mismo ang other sectors hindi pa included in the society, excluded pa siya because of a lot of factors, patriarchal society and whatnot. Also, thank you very much, Effie, for sharing that. We also would like to hear from other people, so you just, utilize the Zoom chat. But
Nikayla,
yeah, so sad that we're nearing towards the closing of ACP. But yeah, that ends our open forum for the webinar. That ends our ACP. So we would like to thank, of course, our participants for your enthusiasm and active participation. And of course, we are very grateful to Mr. Cruz, to Sir CM, for gracefully answering the questions. We're so glad to have you also in today's ACP. We're now towards the end of our event. So to show further our gratitude to our resource speaker for accepting our invitation, we would like to present this certificate of recognition. Let me read the citation. The Ateneo de Naga University Office of Student Affairs and its partners present this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Curt Marvin B. Cruz in grateful recognition of his expertise and service as resource speaker in the Alternative Class Program event, Thumbs Up, Learning Basic Sign Language, held on November 18, 2022, given this 8th of November 2022 at the Ateneo de Naga University, Naga City, Philippines. Signed by Rodolfo S.B. Vertuz Jr., Director of Student Affairs, Ms. Janet B. Badong Badilla, Executive Director, Office of Mission and Identity, Dr. Alfredo C. Fabay, Vice President for Higher Education, and Father Roberto E. N. Rivera, University President. Of course, let's give Sir CM a resounding virtual round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Ayan, so do you have any final note or message to the participants and to our YouTube viewers, Sir CM?
I think my last few point would be to challenge everyone. Go beyond sign language. Learn sign language. And after that, think about what you can do. And now that you have this kind of alternative class experience in the university, the next challenge is, are we ready to be more open to individuals by providing them spaces, opportunities in your own university? And who knows, my question is, do you have any like deaf individuals in Ateneo de Naga University who's currently enrolled? Meron ba kayong kilala, or maybe this is something, maybe what you call this, baka sa private ano na rin, information to, but basically if you know someone, encourage him to be more active. And also, this is actually a call for action towards inclusive education na kasi there are only a few institutions and universities offering opportunities and courses for higher education for deaf individuals. Maybe it's time maybe it's time for us to be more inclusive, and the challenge is for us to answer the call for the need to offer more inclusive programs in our university, one step at a time. Maybe it starts with the Filipino Sign Language program, and then eventually maybe courses that would best fit the interests of the deaf community. Yun lang. Again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will remember all of you. Thank you.
Thank you also, Therese, for sharing your expertise and knowledge. And I hope sana nga mas ma-amplify pa, and mas mabas pa tayo sa ating comfort zone to not just learn, but also siguro involve ourselves more sa mga advocacies, especially with and for our deaf brothers and sisters. Ayan, our participants are sending their gratitude also via chat. Yes, we're very much grateful to have you in our ACP. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Now let's move forward to the photo opportunity. At this point, we would like to request our participants to please open your camera for a quick souvenir photo opportunity. Ayan. May I ask na lang also our tech team to help us with a photo opportunity. Let us know on your cue.
Okay, for frame 1 po. 1, 2, 3. Another 1 po. Okay, thank you po.
Ayan, thank you very much everyone, to our participants, to Sir CM again. But ayan, of course, thank you for staying with us, participants. Medyo nag-overtime tayo, but to our participants in this ACP workshop, please do not forget, of course, to accomplish the online evaluation form to receive your e-certificates. We will be flashing on the link. We will be flashing the link on the screen, or we'll be posting it also in the Google Classroom. But please make sure that you provide the correct information, as it will reflect exactly on your certificate. We are very much grateful for your participation, and we hope to see you all in future ACP webinars and workshops. Jos mabalos po sa gabos. Thank you very much for being with us today. Hopefully you're able to learn something, and you'll give it a try to talk to our deaf brothers and sisters and share with them your favorite word. Ayan, kita-kits on our next ACP topic from the Office of Student Affairs and its partners. Once again, I am Nikayla Karell A. Odi. It was a pleasure to having been your host for Thumbs Up Learning Basic Sign Language. Thank you very much.